So, you reckon a top player these days thinking about seeing out their career at just one club is about as likely as finding a Premier League ref who admits they got a decision wrong?
Huh. Yeah, probably about right.
Welcome to this deep dive brought to you by EPLnews.org. You can get even more detailed analysis on all the transfer madness we're about to, well, dissect over at EPLnews.org.
Exactly. And what looks like just, a load of summer gossip columns
Yeah.
actually gives us a really interesting peek behind the curtain.
How so?
Well, at how clubs are planning, how players are valuing themselves, and crucially, who's holding the power in these high-stakes negotiations.
Right. You, our ever-curious listener, bombarded us with the freshest transfer news from across the continent, and we've been busy trying to sort of make sense of the chaos.
Forget refreshing your feed every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to pull out the genuinely intriguing threads. Okay, let's kick things off in Germany. Bayern Munich seem to be playing a risky game of chicken with Leroy Sane. What's the story there?
Well, what's fascinating is Bayern's apparent unwillingness to budge on their contract offer to Sane.
Okay.
Here's a guy, 29-year-old winger, bags of talent, heading into the final year of his deal. His new reps have put a counterproposal on the table, but the word is Bayern aren't prepared to increase their initial offer at all.
Wow. That feels like a pretty strong statement, doesn't it, from a club that usually gets what it wants?
It really does.
Makes you wonder, right? Are we seeing a shift where clubs are finally drawing a line in the sand with player demands? Or is Bayern just, incredibly confident they can afford to let Sane go if he doesn't sign their terms?
That's a great point. I mean, what precedents are there for this?
Well, you sometimes see it when clubs feel a player's performance hasn't consistently matched the wages, perhaps. Or maybe they have younger players ready to step up.
Yeah, or think back to situations where clubs haven't met demands of, let's say, aging stars. It could be risky, definitely.
Sure.
Could disrupt the squad morale. But it can also set a precedent for future negotiations. This is our limit.
Okay, switching gears then. Let's head south to Italy. Napoli are being linked with not one, but two potentially massive free transfers.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne, who's waving goodbye to Man City, and Jonathan David from Lille. But Napoli's sporting director is keeping Stum on the De Bruyne rumors.
Right, the silence.
What do you read into that? Is it just classic negotiation tactics? Playing it cool?
It could definitely be strategic. I mean, if they publicly declared strong interest, it might just alert other clubs.
Yeah.
Right? Or even inflate De Bruyne's wage demands.
True.
Alternatively, perhaps their interest is more exploratory, just weighing up the financials, De Bruyne's own wishes. Sometimes silence in these situations speaks volumes.
Suggesting what? Intense work behind the scenes? Or maybe they're just not sure.
Could be either, really. Or maybe they're just focusing on the other one.
Jonathan David. Snapping up two forwards on free transfers would be a pretty bold move, wouldn't it?
Very bold.
If they pulled this off, what kind of attacking setup might Napoli be envisioning next season? Are they aiming for a total transformation up front?
It certainly suggests a potential evolution in their attack. David offers pace, a different kind of threat compared to some of their current guys.
And De Bruyne feeding him.
Exactly. If De Bruyne were to join, his creativity would unlock so much potential for a striker like David. It hints at a dynamic, maybe more direct attacking style.
Interesting. Okay, back to Germany now. The future of Bayer Leverkusen's midfield maestro, Florian Wirtz, seems up in the air.
Oh, Wirtz. Phenomenal talent.
Their top brass reckons there's a 50-50 chance he sticks around, despite the, inevitable Bayern Munich links.
Always Bayern.
For a club like Leverkusen, keeping hold of a talent like that feels like a real statement of intent, doesn't it? Or is it just, wishful thinking?
No, I think it's a huge indicator of Leverkusen's growing ambition. Seriously.
You think so?
Yeah, to have a player of Wirtz's caliber, young German international, attracting interest from the biggest clubs. And for the club to publicly state a good chance of keeping him. It suggests they believe in their project.
And maybe that Wirtz believes it too. Sees his development best served there.
Precisely. It raises the stakes for Leverkusen, though. Holding on to Wirtz could be the catalyst for, sustained success, not just a one-off good season.
Right, okay. Let's hop over to North London. Arsenal's Jakub Kiwior is reportedly on the radar of Juventus and Inter Milan.
Serie A calling.
He's apparently pondering his long-term future. What might be the underlying reasons? I mean, he's at a top club like Arsenal.
Yeah.
Why consider a switch? Is it purely about playing time?
Playing time is often a primary motivator? It has to be.
Sure.
While Arsenal are flying high, competition for places is fierce, isn't it? Kiwior might be seeking more consistent starts.
And the Italian style. Maybe a better fit.
Could be. The tactical styles or the specific role offered by Juve or Inter might be more appealing. And sometimes, honestly, just a change of scenery, a different footballing culture, that can be a draw, too.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, this next rumor is a real head-turner.
Oh, go on.
Real Madrid supposedly eyeing up a deal for Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Wow. Really?
For a relatively modest fee, apparently, aiming to get it done before the Club World Cup. That's a move that would send shockwaves, wouldn't it?
Absolutely massive shockwaves.
Yeah.
Trent at Madrid. Hard to picture.
So what could be driving this from Real's perspective? And, maybe more importantly, what might tempt a Liverpool icon like Alexander-Arnold to even consider it?
Well, it's certainly surprising. For Real Madrid, I suppose a player with his unique skill set, that incredible passing range, the attacking threat from fullback, could add a whole new dimension.
Different from what they have.
Very different. Maybe they see him as a long-term successor, but in a totally different mold. For Alexander-Arnold, the lure of Real Madrid is powerful, isn't it?
The Bernabeu effect.
Yeah, experiencing Spanish football, maybe adding different kinds of trophies to his cabinet. Even with his deep ties to Liverpool, that could be tempting.
One to watch. Definitely. Okay, shifting focus to the dugout now. Sean Dyche.
Dyche.
Reportedly in the frame to take the reins at Leicester City, with the expectation that Ruud van Nistelrooy will be departing.
Okay, that's a change of pace.
Dyche has a very clear managerial identity, right? What would his potential arrival signal for Leicester, their ambitions, their playing style?
Well, Dyche is renowned for building well-organized, defensively robust teams, very solid.
Hard to beat would be the tagline.
Exactly. His potential appointment might indicate a desire for stability, a more pragmatic approach, especially if they're aiming to consolidate, build a solid foundation back in the Prem. Expect hard work, direct play.
Right. Now, here's an interesting one that kind of highlights the human side of the game. Douglas Luiz.
Oh, yeah, the Juventus move last summer.
Well, reports suggest he's actually missing playing for Aston Villa.
Really? After just one season?
Apparently so. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Sometimes the big money move, the step up on paper, it doesn't always bring happiness.
Absolutely. It really underscores that factors beyond money and, perceived career progression are massive.
Like what?
Team spirit, the camaraderie, connection with the fans, feeling like you belong. That can be just as crucial for a player's well-being and their performance, too.
A reminder that the grass isn't always greener, eh?
Definitely not. Good point.
Brighton now, ever the shrewd operators in the transfer market.
Always sniffing out value.
They're being linked with another young talent. Hellas Verona defender Diego Coppola. Their strategy seems unwavering.
It really is. Brighton's recruitment is, well, it's a model of sustainable success, isn't it?
Seems that way.
Their consistent interest in young, promising players like Coppola aligns perfectly with their whole philosophy. Develop talent, give them chances, and often see a significant return on investment later on.
Testament to their scouting, their coaching.
Absolutely. Top operation.
Finally, AC Milan are reportedly keen on Feyenoord's center back David Hankoko.
Hanko, yeah. Slovak international. Good player.
But they're facing competition from Bayer Leverkusen and Juventus. What is it about him that makes him so sought after across multiple top leagues?
Well, for a defender to be attracting that kind of interest from Serie A, the Bundesliga, it suggests he's got a pretty well-rounded skill set.
Meaning?
Likely combines strong defending with decent technical ability on the ball, maybe leadership qualities too, plus his experience playing internationally.
Yeah.
That all adds up, makes him appealing to these big clubs.
Right, a lot going on then. So as we sift through all this transfer talk, some clear themes are emerging, aren't they?
Definitely.
Clubs taking firm stances on contracts, like Bayern, the potential for big-name free transfers like De Bruyne or David to reshape teams, and just this constant battle among Europe's elite for the best talent.
Yeah, and it certainly throws our opening question into sharper focus, doesn't it? Is the idea of a lifelong one-club player truly a thing of the past in modern football?
It feels like it might be, looking at all this.
The sheer volume of potential moves, the number of top players nearing the end of their contracts, it points to a highly fluid, really dynamic market. The incentives for both players and clubs to, explore new opportunities seem stronger than ever.
Exactly. And with so much potential upheaval on the horizon, you have to wonder, What does this constant churn of players actually mean for the long-term identity and stability of the clubs we love?
That's the big question.
Something for you to think about. Head over to eplnews.org to dive even deeper into these developing stories and share your own take on all the transfer gossip.